Constantine Metal Resources.
As well as the Palmer project, Constantine also owns 100% interest in the Monroe Creases project in eastern Canada. This project is in the Timmins area, to the east of the Timmins camp, along the fundamental structure that hosts most of the deposits in the Timmins camp. An interesting part of my background in the industry, really, my father was a geologist and I grew up in the industry. My dad's great uncle was a mine maker, a mine builder basically. He built head frames and concentrators and mills, and he actually participated in the Yukon gold rush and came out of the rush with several hundred ounces of gold. The McVeigh family has a long history in the Monroe Creases gold mine area. Originally in the late 20s, my great uncle Ed Grant, who was mine manager of the Right Hardgrades at Kirkland Lake, acquired an interest in the mine along with Bob Coffey, who was mine manager of the Lakeshore mine in Kirkland Lake. And when they acquired the mine in the late 20s, my dad, who was fresh out of university, worked as a geologist there for the early part of his career until the end of that operating period, which was around 1936. And in particular, the Creases gold mine, after my father passed away in 1969, I actually had an opportunity to go in there shortly after I graduated from university and do a very detailed mapping on the project. These particular samples were actually in our basement. I grew up with them in our basement as a kid in a canvas sample bag, and whenever Dad had a party, they'd often come out on the table and share them with various mining folks. Another element of the Creases mine as well is it was known to produce very spectacular ore, and several of those samples we have available for viewing. These particular samples that we have were actually collected during the 1929 to 36 period and represent 4 spectacular samples that average around 15,000 ounces of gold a ton. The historic mining of the Creases is fairly complex because of the grade of the ore. However, the spectacular high-grade samples that came out of the Creases mine, that came out of small lenses that were virtually 30 to 50% gold. This gold was hand-cobbed and shipped directly to the mint. Ongoing exploration plans at the Creases, we have completed 2 drill programs for a total of just under 3,000 meters of drilling. This drilling has been very successful in identifying veins that may represent the offset or faulted extension of the very high-grade Creases vein. But also, very importantly, we've identified a potential additional source of gold in the same structural block that the Creases mine sits in at depth under the old mine workings. And our exploration efforts at the Creases in particular are focused at trying to identify the source and the areas of more of this very high-grade gold, which we do feel that we've got a very specific target identified. Mining is in my blood.
Constantine Metal Resources.